Welcome to Menopause Moguls podcast, the Elevation Talk series, with yours truly, Dr. Joyelle. I am Dr. Joyelle, the Menopause Mogul, board certified OBGYN and business coach for Black women 40 and over. And my mission is to educate, embolden, and empower Black women and other women of color in their journey through health and careers. This is a space for Black women and other women of color to share their compelling trials and tribulations in their health and or in their careers and businesses. This is where we recognize the humanity of Black women and show how Black women continue to elevate despite midlife challenges and changes. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Menopause Moguls with yours truly, Dr. Joyelle. Hey, y'all, how are y'all doing? I am refreshed. I just had a birthday. If you've noticed, I took a couple of weeks off as far as recording, so y'all didn't get a couple of episodes. So, because every time around my birthday, y'all, I really like to take time just to take a step back, do some self-reflection, some reset. And of course, I took vacation. Did a little differently this year. I took it actually before my birthday, which was kind of weird. But yeah, I took a vacation 2 weeks ago, and I want to share a little bit of an adventure on that vacation. Actually got caught up in the hurricane, but I'll talk about that on another episode. But this episode, I wanted to talk about letting people see you sweat. Let them see you sweat. But before I get into it, I am also excited about sharing my plan to reopen the doors of Menopause Moguls. Menopause Moguls, if you don't know, is my online group coaching program. And I am super excited to be reopening the doors because they've been closed for a minute because of my health issues, family things, all kinds of things. But I'm excited because it's gonna be open in next month. So I'm excited for y'all, to be honest, this because I'm tweaking some things and it is going to be more transformational for my clients than ever before. So I'm excited about that. Just to give you just a little bit of gist of what my clients walk away with, they actually achieve these 5 goals when they finish Menopause Moguls. Number 1, they prioritize themselves. That's number 1. Making themselves first over everything, over family, over their 9 to 5, over their parents, like over everything. They prioritize themselves. Number 2, they make radical self-care and soul care a lifestyle, period. It is not something that they get to do, it's something they actually have to do for self-preservation. They actually get the tools that they can use to really focus on prioritizing their wellness physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Wellness, being overall well, is the foundation of us being able to build businesses that actually thrive and that we also thrive as we're building and launching these businesses. So that's number 2. Number 3 is they learn how to change their response to their menopausal symptoms or even midlife circumstances. Y'all know how life be lifing. They learn how to change their response so they don't fall into the trap of overwhelm and being on the struggle bus forever, that type of thing. So they learn how to change their response so they can keep moving, keep going, keep making those steps towards building their businesses and then doing all the things that they are actually being called to do. So that's number 4. Number 3. Number 4 is they change the relationship with themselves. And when they do that, they essentially they create a mogul mindset where they actually know, like, and trust themselves so that they can take the bold steps of building a business, during the menopausal transition, during these midlife ish things that are happening in our lives, they're still able to push through fear, push through self doubt, push through whatever that thing is and build their business. And number five is that they launch their business. They launch their businesses and they are thriving at the same time. So those are the five goals that they achieve when they finish Menopause Moguls. And who is this for? Menopause Moguls is for women of color, high achieving women of color, Black women, 40 and over, who are ready to start a business, ready to start a service based business, but feel like they don't either have the time or the capacity to launch a business because of their menopausal symptoms or just midlife changes, where there can be changes that they in their family. They start caregiving as far as parents or whatever they're doing as far as changes in their family dynamics, changes in the things that they think about themselves, their confidence levels, doubt, all those things. Being able to um, get through and push through all of that and still launch a business or still ready to launch a business. That is what Menopause Moguls is for. So if that is something that resonates with you, that speaks to you, send me a DM on Instagram saying that I'm ready. Or if you're watching here on YouTube, put in the comments, I'm ready. So I can reach out to you and we can talk about if you are a good candidate for Menopause Moguls, because it's not for everybody, right? Like it's not for everybody. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in upcoming episodes and just yeah, we'll talk about more about that. But I'm excited. I'm so excited because of what I've been through, because of all the things that I've learned about myself, I can certainly serve in a deeper capacity in Menopause Moguls. So I'm grateful and I'm excited for you all to um, dig deep within yourself so that you can also do the thing like build a service-based business, do the thing that you've been called to do. All right. So that's that. So let's talk about letting people see you sweat. Okay. Um, so I want to talk about my little catamaran adventure with my husband. So I went on vacation with my husband. His birthday is the day before mine. And we always travel on our birthdays. But this year, because of, babysitting, we need somebody, grandparents to watch the kids. So we had to make a little bit earlier this year so they can, stay here and watch the kids while we go away. And the kids always give us grief, like, why y'all gotta go away? It's not fair. Like, why can't we come with you? Like, nah, we've been going away with each other on our birthdays way before y'all got here. We are not stopping. So the only time that we did not go away was during the pandemic. So this year like I said, we did go away, but we just went away just a little bit earlier. So and we went to Cancun, beautiful place called Palafitos, and this beautiful overwater bungalow. It was so nice, y'all. Highly recommend. Um, but included in our package was a catamaran trip, so on the boat. And I really didn't know what this trip entailed. I just like, all right, fine, go on the boat. That sounds nice. So when we got there, we also in our package we get a butler. Like I said, y'all, very nice. So butler was like, yes, y'all want me to schedule y'all for the catamaran? I'm like, yeah, because the hurricane is coming, so we might as well get it done before the hurricane comes, right? While we can do it. So sure, we can do it on the next day. Fine. So I was like, what is this catamaran? What is this boat trip about? Like, what are we gonna be doing? Like, oh, we're gonna be snorkeling and they're gonna take you out, and y'all gonna be able to go snorkeling. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, y'all, I am, let's just say I'm not a great swimmer. Um, and it's more so because because of fear, right? So I really don't like getting in water that I cannot touch the bottom of. Let's start there. Okay. I remember going snorkeling on our me and my husband's first trip together. It was also in Cancun, which is kind of funny. Um, I went snorkeling for the first time. Didn't know how to swim at all at that point. Um, but I went snorkeling and I was terrified. Like, oh, are you serious? You really want me to go snorkeling? He was like, yeah, let's go. So I'm like, okay. So I did go that first time I went to Cancun years ago. And but I did it, right? So I was younger, I was a little bit more adventurous. Like, all right, fine. As I've gotten older, not as adventurous, right? So I'm like, snorkeling again, right? Um, and I've been snorkeling one other time with my sisters on a cruise. That was the most hilarious experience. I'll tell you about that experience another time. But back to this experience. So I was like, you know what? I've been snorkeling twice already. Like, Joelle, you can do this, right? Um, but I was still kind of like, I don't know. I hesitated. And so, so we're getting basically towards approaching the reef where we're going to be snorkeling. And there was another boat with another group of people doing the same thing. So I'm watching. So as we are, approaching the crew members are giving us our snorkeling gear, the goggles, the whatever that thing is. What is the thing that you breathe? Whatever the tube you breathe out of. The flippers, um, and like, the life jacket. I'm like, okay. So I'm like getting all the stuff together, putting it on. My husband's like, you want to go? And I'm like, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. He's like, okay. So as we are approaching, like I said, we get to the reef and they're anchoring the boat. And then the boat, like I said, there's another boat, like probably, I don't know, maybe 20 feet away from us. I don't know. And I see people jumping off into the sea, into the Caribbean Sea. I'm like, why are they just jumping into the water? I'm like, oh, hell no. Right? So I'm like, I'm not jumping into this damn. So my husband's like, are you going to go? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I said, you go ahead and go. You go. I don't want to hold you up. He's like, no, are you sure? I'm like, no, for real. Go ahead. You can go ahead. So he jumps off the boat. I'm like, dude, like you jumping off the boat. Clearly, he is more adventurous than me. Okay. Um, so I'm like, oh my God. So everybody, so I'm like, what? No. Is there a ladder? I need a ladder. I'm not gonna be just jumping off the boat. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I'm like, yeah, it's a ladder in the back. I'm like, all right, fine. Let me go, I'll try the ladder. So my husband jumps off, so he starts swimming away with the rest of the group. So I'm still kind of hemming and hawing, like, do I go? Do I not go? What? And mind you, I didn't tell you this part. As we were approaching the reef, there was a flying stingray that jumped out of the water right before we stopped to go snorkeling. So I'm like, really? Really? A flying stingray. Okay. So there's that. But I'm like, you know what, Joel, you can do this. Like, it'll be fine. You got the life jacket. You'll be fine. You've done this before. Like, just go ahead and do it. And so I'm like, all right. So then at the same time, one of the crew members was like, are you coming? Like, what do you? So I wasn't the only one who was stayed back. There was another couple that was there, who was a little bit older who stayed back. And the guy was like, you coming? I'm like, I'm a little scared. And he was like, it's fine. Come with me. Come with me. So he had that little donut raft thing. He's like, you can hold on to this. I'm like, all right, cool. So I climb down. I get down on the ladder into the water. And but before that, actually, as I'm walking back towards the ladder, I see my husband in the middle of the sea. Joelle, no! Like he's like waving, no! And I'm like, what? He's like, no! And I'm like, why is he telling me no? Well, probably because he knows his wife, and I get out there and freak out, like, girl, what you doing? So I'm like, but you know what? Like, I got this. So I'm coaching myself. I got this. I've done this before. I can do this snorkeling thing. Got the life jacket, all this thing. So I got in the water off the ladder and held on to the raft and probably got maybe 6, 7 feet away from the boat. And I told the guy, I was like, you know what? Bring me back. I can't. I can't, right? But I tried, y'all. I tried. Um, so he brought me back and I got back on the boat. But the funny thing is, because I tried, there was another black woman who was also terrified. And she was like, I don't know if I should go. But she was like, you know what? Since you tried, I'm going to go too. So she actually got off the ladder and tried to and got a little bit further than me. So I was like, all right, cool. So the crew member was like, okay, well, we're going to a second spot. Maybe you'll, try there. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll do that. We go to the second spot. I got off the boat and I went maybe probably about 15 feet away from the boat. My mask wouldn't fit properly. My hair was bulky. So I was like, you know what? Just bring me back. I can't. I, I'm good. I'm good. Got back on the boat. I'm like, you know what? I tried. Right? I tried. I was proud of myself because I tried. It was fine. So I wanted to share that story because when we think about things as we are getting to these midlife years, think about how we are or how we can become afraid to try, afraid to go out into the deep, right? Into the sea of uncertainty. When we're thinking about building businesses in these midlife streets, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like we're going into something that we really don't have a whole lot of knowledge about, probably, as far as building a business, starting a business. There's a whole lot of uncertainty. And we can't see the bottom, right? We can't see the the destination so clearly because of all the other things that are going on in life, whether it's menopausal symptoms, whether it's the children, whether it's you taking care of your parents or other elderly family members, whether it's other things that are going on in your workplace. There's just so many things kind of swirling around you. You really can't see, that far ahead of what it would look like if you launch this business. Or there's things like stingrays coming out of the water. That scares the shit out of you. You're like, what am I going out there for? Like, what would I do that? Or there may be people who will be like, nah, girl, what you doing that for? Like, you got this lovely 9 to 5. You got your check every 2 weeks and the security. Like, what you going out in the deep for? Looks like my husband's out there. No, don't do it. Like, there may be people in your life who tell you, like, why would you start a business? And I've gotten that myself. I was in a private practice doing well. I've had many people be like, what'd you leave your practice for to start a business? Like, why would you do that? Like, you a whole doctor. Like, you could just stop there. But when you have this feeling that whether it's a nudge, whether it's a whisper, telling you that you want more, you are built for more, why won't we go after that? Why won't we try to get that more? Right? So just thinking about working with my own coach, and she, when there were things that I was afraid to do in my business, whether it's doing a live video or making a post, she would ask me, what would be the worst thing that would happen if you put it out there? What would be the worst thing that would happen if you just tried? Right. And when I'm thinking about that, like the worst thing would be like, oh, nobody would read it, nobody would see the live, like. And the reality is like, okay, like nobody will die. I won't die. Nobody else will die. Like, it'll be fine. You just try again, right? You just try again. But the other thing is another thing that I was actually, my coach who I love and admire, she was actually on Sarah Jakes Roberts' podcast, who also another woman that I totally admire. And they were talking about, trying, doing things that that are uncomfortable, doing things that we are being called to do, but feeling uncomfortable about it. But also at the same time, we don't want to do these things. My coach said, we don't want to do these things. So we don't want to be seen trying. So that's why I want to title this, Let Them See You Sweat, Let Them See You Try, because we don't want people to see us trying, right? When they were talking on the podcast about, Sarah Jakes Roberts was saying, so trying, we want to do something new, but we want to just be out there and just be doing it. And I just remember as I was kind of getting the inkling of going out of my practice and building a brand for myself and doing something different, doing something new. When you look on Instagram, you feel like you look at other people's pages or profiles like, oh wow, like she has it all together. It's like she thought about building a business and poof, it's there. Like magically happened, mastered it, it's fine. And I was afraid to try, and people will look at me like, what are you doing? Why is she doing that? And not only people looking at me and seeing me, but also me actually failing, right? People actually will see me fail. So all of this catamaran experience just reminded me that trying is messy. As I was like grabbing onto the raft for dear life, flailing my legs, I eventually stopped flailing my legs and, like got a little bit further away the second time because I trusted the life jacket will keep me afloat. Right. And like I said, coach myself to say, like, girl, you've done this before. You can do it. You can go a little bit further this time. And which I did, right? But at the same time, knowing that, and people saw me like, they'll get back on the road. Did you go out there and try, girl? Like, how was it? Like, they was all like way out. They come back like, did you go? I'm like, yes, I did. I tried. But realizing that trying is going to be messy. It's not going to be polished. It's not going to be putting it, you put it out there. It's going to be all together and lovely. And you will just be, totally successful the very next day. That's what I thought. I don't know about y'all. When I started my business, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to start this business, put this post out, let people know that the business is available and I'm going to get clients tomorrow. I'm going to be successful tomorrow. And I know that's kind of a crazy thought, but I was just wishing that that's what was going to happen because because it was just again doing something so uncomfortable like building a business, something that I've never done before, something that I really didn't know a whole lot about. I did not want to I did not want people to see me um looking inadequate or look at me feeling inadequate. They probably didn't know that I was feeling inadequate, but I was. I didn't want people to see me, right? I didn't want people to be like, oh my God, like, what is she talking about? She sounds stupid. Like, I had all these thoughts, y'all. So, but that's what we do. We have all these thoughts. We have all these, um, basically false stories that we tell ourselves that stop us from trying. Um, and just thinking about when we get into these midlife years, I think they want us to believe that when we get here, that we're just supposed to just stop trying because we've already got to this point. Like, why do you need to try for something else? Like, just stop. Like, you're a whole doctor. Why are you going for something else? You're a whole CEO of somebody else's business. Why would you want something else more? Um, so because of that, we don't try or we don't want to be seen trying, doing something outside of our element, doing something that we're not very familiar with. Um, and that is because we're avoiding the feeling of being exposed, feeling inadequate, or just straight out failing. Don't want to fail. Like, who wants to go out there and fail? Nobody. However, if we change our perspective of what failing actually means, I think more of us will be willing and giving ourselves permission to try, um, to do the things that we are being called to do. And we also have to realize that we've been trying things all of our life to get to this point where we are, right? Trying to get into college, trying to get in their master's program, medical school, PhD, dental school. We tried and we got in, we got our degrees, right? Trying to get to a higher place in our workplace, get into, promotion to the, highest position. I became a partner in my practice. Like we try and we get to that point. Um, but many of us can get to this place of where we want to have more. We want to build businesses. We want to create a life that we want, but we are afraid of trying. And I want to invite you to give yourself permission to try. That's the call to action. Try some shit, right? Try to go out to lunch by yourself. Try to go to the movies by yourself. Try snorkeling if you on a vacation. Go try snorkeling. Whatever that thing is, I want you to start trying. And if you are trying to build a business, if you are, 40 and over, done all these amazing things in your life, but you also want to try starting a business, I want you to try doing that too, right? I want you to try doing that too. And um but at the same time I realize why a lot of us stop ourselves from trying, or we try and we stop, right? And that a lot of that is because of how we feel about ourselves, how we look at ourselves, how we talk to ourselves. Um, so we have to create that life jacket, to keep us afloat when we go out into the deep and building these businesses, right? And that life jacket is the trust that you have within yourself. You actually trust in yourself. And that is what I coach my clients and teach my clients to do in Menopause Moguls. Learning how to trust themselves again, um, is something is really the foundation of, how they step out there and build and launch their businesses. Um, because you can get to a point where you going through menopause, going through perimenopause, menopause, all these changes are happening with your body. You don't know yourself. You don't know what's happening. You don't like yourself. You're not trusting yourself because of these symptoms or because of other things that's going on in your life. There's so many things that are going on. And what I do, I coach my clients on is learning how to know, like, and trust themselves again so that they can take these bold steps and go into the deep and build and then launch their businesses. So that is what I want for you. If that's something that you are wanting to try, ready to try, that is what I'm here for. That is why I built Menopause Moguls. So again, if that's something that resonates with you, send me a DM on Instagram saying I'm ready, or if you're watching here on YouTube, comment that I'm ready so that we can talk about you applying for the next cohort of Menopause Moguls. So that's what I have for y'all today. I hope y'all enjoyed my catamaran snorkeling experience. Oh, the joys of trying. But again, like I said, just letting people see you sweat, letting people see you try is what you actually need to do in order to build the business that you want to build in these midlife streets, make the pivot that you want to do, that you want to make, create the life that you want in these midlife streets. You really have to, um, be okay with trying and letting people see you sweat, because that is how we get to the other side of this whole, menopause experience, this whole transition from this person who you used to be to the woman that you actually were created to become. So that's what I got for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed that. But I have more stories. Like I said, I'm super excited about what's to come. And I have lots more to talk about in future episodes. So stay tuned, y'all. As always, me love and light. And I'll talk to y'all next time. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye.